It is incredible that in order to allow Pakistanis to use cheap and high-strength Roshan, this simple small workshop in Peshawar uses waste steel recycled from local state-owned factories to produce strong and durable high-strength bolts. The high-quality waste steel bought back from the local government is the raw material for making bolts. Workers will put it into the punch and use the punch to match it. The steel was quickly cut into standard lengths for the baffles. It took less than 2.5 hours to cut out a total of 666 steel bars. Then the workers put the bars in a short-burning furnace for high-temperature heating. This step is to increase the plasticity of the metal so that it can be stamped into shape more easily. What is this flying out of the house? But it feels like the workers are used to it and are still concentrating on the furnace. The operation of the material is to pull the red-hot steel rod into the chute and transfer it to the processing workshop. I never thought that what just flew out was a stamped steel monument. This is really a bold move. In this process, the worker will put the red-hot steel rod into the stamping die and then quickly put the pole into the stamping machine. The stamping die will quickly stamp out the bolt head from the steel rod and then quickly throw the pole out of the workshop. At this time, the steel helmet, it looks like some bolts. In order to increase the hardness and strength of the steel billet, the workers will also use this ancestral green fire soup to treat the steel billet with green fire. In this process, the steel billet with a higher temperature needs to be put into water for rapid cooling so that the ruthless iron hand can quickly cut it aside and wait for the next step of processing. After the steel billet is completely cooled, it can be transferred to the processing workshop for processing. The screw head will be carefully removed with a turning tool to ensure that its appearance and size meet the manufacturing requirements. Then it will be sent to the next station to be processed into a screw of appropriate size by a turning tool. This process also requires smooth chamfering of the screw to make the size of each part meet the production requirements. The most important thing next is to process a standard thread on the screw. The equipment for processing threads it is a lathe. The worker only needs to operate the turning tool twice to turn the pin and successfully process the standard thread on the screw. This process requires not only rich experience and superb craftsmanship, but also strong psychological quality and courage. After all, once the processing fails, you have to think about where to hide it. However, although there is no equipment for testing accuracy here, the worker will use the appropriate nut to confirm whether the thread has reached the required. At this point, the processing of the bolt is initially completed, and the production of Rome is also the same processing method. After the ingredients are stamped out, the surface is cut and chamfered by a lathe, and the same thread is made in its inner hole. In order to make the bolt more corrosion-resistant and anti-corrosive, the worker also needs to put the bolt in a chemical container for high-temperature heating. Through chemical reaction with the container, a dense layer of the black protective film improves the durability and service life of the bolt. At this point, the high-strength bolt is produced. So after watching the whole process, what do you think of the strength of the screw made in this way?